One of our most popular products at Orchids Limited is the Neofinetia falcata. We've been importing these since 2004, and there is growing popularity in North America over the past several years. They come in many different styles, so let's take a look at some of the more desirable types of foliage. As you may know, these plants are grown not only for their flowers, but mainly for their foliage. They've been cherished in Japan since the later 1800s, although recognized since the earlier 1600s in literature. Let's take a look at some of the different forms. Here we have a variety called Gekkeikan. It is what they call fukurin variegation, which means marginal variegation, where there is a variegated stripe around the outside of the leaf. This is one of the more common types, and it's very easy to grow and flowers well every year as well. Next we have a bean leaf and curved leafed style, which is called seikai, and it is a very compact plant, a slower grower, but a very unique looking plant as well. It also has slightly mutated flowers, so it has another unique characteristic to it. And as you can see, the first two plants are potted in Japanese style clay Neofinetia pots. So one is your standard black glazed and one is with decoration. These are hand painted pots. Each one is individual, which means they don't come with a low price tag. Each one is unique, and they can be priced anywhere from $50 to a few $100s for certain varieties. Next we have what they call the torafu, or tiger variegation, which are basically creamy bands of yellowish or whitish variegation. Almost look like splotches of variegation on the leaves. They come in different intensities. This particular one you see here is a very good example of setsuzan. In fact, better than most. Sometimes the Japanese will take a higher quality variegation that is morphed from a standard variegation and give it a new varietal name. Next we have a needle leaf variety. They're called hariba, and that is because the leaves look like little pine needles. They tend to clump quickly. It is actually a very poor flowering variety. They generally do not flower every year, but when they do flower, they can flower for several months on end as they flower sporadically. And it's a very easy variety to grow. And here we have another tiger variety, one of the better tigers, called Kogane-nishiki. There are some yellow leaves on this that are not variegated. They're actually slowly starting to die. I'll be using this plant as an example for repotting. But this is another type of variegation which has more of a golden glow to it compared to the setsuzan, which has more of a white glow to it. The Japanese also appreciate these plants for their root tip colors. They come in 5 different colors. Let's show an example of one. This would be what they call ao, which means blue or green, because it's the standard plain green color. There are other types. This they call Doro, which means, well, mud, because it has kind of a dark brownish appearance to it, brown to red. There's also red and ruby red tip varieties as well, which we will cover in another video. Here is an example of what the flowers look like. This is the standard shape of the flowers, although the only difference is it has some color to it. It has a magenta purple hue to the spur, ovary, and slightly on the tips of the petals. This particular variety is called Shuteno, and one of the most popular of its kind because it is very easy to grow, flowers very well, and is one of the few neos that can flower twice a year. It can flower in the summer and often again at the end of the fall season, once they become an established clump. Here we have a plant that probably we've been growing since 2005, starting at about a 2 to 3 growth plant. Now it's 2012, and you can see a significant growth that's sitting in about a 6.5 inch decorative pot. But this is the most interesting thing about these plants is that not only are they monopodial growers, but they're also sympodial growers, which means they can grow and flower on the same old growth as well as all the new growths they produce, making them truly a spectacular event when they come into bloom. General blooming season is mid-June to mid-July. They have a wonderful fragrance, which is similar to that of jasmine. It's fragrant day and night, most fragrant when the sun sets and just before the sun rises through the evening, as they are pollinated by moths in the wild. This is what the Japanese call a rankake, or orchid hanger. These are specifically made for the Neofinetia falcata. There are several styles available. The ones I am using are either these single styles, or there's also a double stacked variety as well. They're very versatile in the fact that you can hang them, you can put them on the table because they have a wide base. They have an additional hook at the bottom of the base that you can hang an additional hanger onto, and they also rotate. They work perfect for the standard K35 or 3.5 inch neopot or 3.5 inch terracotta pot that you see here. Most of the decorative pots are also in the K35 style, as the Japanese call it. Overall, if you're looking for a new plant, or if you're looking to add additional varieties of this particular plant to your collection, we try hard to accommodate this. Every year we work on bringing in new varieties or dividing large specimens of our own to make them available. They're very easy to grow, they're attractive. It's a wonderful plant because it's a living piece of Japanese culture and history. Please take a look at our website, OrchidWeb.com.